Gauteng Premier David Makhura says he is ready to hand over the reins amid reports suggesting that he has been recalled. Now, the party held a media briefing yesterday announcing that there will be a smooth transition of power. Provincial Secretary TK Nciza says the party will now work on finding Makhura's replacement. But speculation is, of course, rife that Panyaza Lefusi is set to take over after being elected as ANC Provincial Chair. So let's unpack the story further. We're joined by political analysts. Rebone Tau joins us via our video link this morning. Great to have you with us on the program, Rebone. I mean, is this discussion a non-starter? Was it always going to be the case that Panyaza Lefusi would take over as Gauteng Premier?
Good morning and good morning to the viewers at home. I mean, if you look at the ANC, how the politics of today are, in most cases, once you're no longer elected as the premier to serve as in a structure as a chair, you are not you're not guaranteed to finish your term. You know, even if you look at the president of the ANC, we can go back to term's time. No one finishes their term. You know, so it was happen. We saw it recently happen in KwaZulu-Natal when Sihla was not elected. You know, he at least resigned, and Makhura is taking the longer route. And I can tell you one thing for sure. On Friday, when I spoke to some of the PEC members of the Gauteng ANC PEC, indicated that they are having a PEC meeting in Terrefontaine, and this meeting took place at 1 o'clock on Friday. They further indicated that there was a decision to actually recall the Premier of Gauteng, you know. And before that, 2 weeks before, there was a PwC meeting that took place. And I remember that PwC, when it took place, was during the time when President Ramaphosa had gone to the SADC summit in the DRC. And one of the things Makhura was saying to the PwC was that he's waiting for President Ramaphosa to come back and appoint him as a minister. And we know that indeed there is a vacant position in cabinet, you know, of Minister Lodlo, who resigned. You know, we also have in the Deputy Minister of Women, you know, so the president still has that room for reshuffling. But the question that also Makhura is not a member of parliament as things stand, you know. But again, on Saturday, there was a delegation that was sent by the PEC to go and inform the Premier Makhura. People like Mzi, Panyaza, TK and Mujapelo were part of that delegation. On Saturday at 10 a.m. went to the house of Makhura to inform him of this decision. You know, so yesterday when they came, it shows that Makhura is also playing politics here. And why I say that, he's been consistent over the past 2 weeks about the lifestyle of audit of MECs. We've heard him also speaking about the polygraphy that he's going to take upon for his MECs, which is something very foreign, you know, in a cabinet where, imagine President Ramaphosa saying, I'm going to do a polygraphy of all the ministers because I don't believe what they would have said to me based on the lifestyle audit. Because also there's what we call declaration of interest, you know. So that declaration of interest obviously has to tally with the lifestyle audit, you know. But if someone does not believe you, then they start to say, no, we're going to do polygraph. So is this a form of Makhura intimidating the PEC? Because we know that a majority of some in the PEC are part of the executive, and now they're not able to communicate the decision that they have resolved on.
Yeah, it's interesting times, isn't it? And of course now in trying to handle this transition, whatever that transition is, there's just a lot of talk about unity and renewal, which of course is the governing party's spin as we head into 2024. It's interesting because Makhura didn't stand for election for the position of chairperson, and yet he maintained, even as we were building up to that elective conference back in June, he said that he'd still like to complete his term. So, you know, how do we balance these very different statements and actions from him?
That's why, you know, I made reference even to ANC presidents. None of them have finished their term.
Yeah.
This is something that is common in the ANC, because the argument sometimes always become the two sides of power. Because you must remember that Makhura is not serving in any structure of the ANC right now. He's just an ordinary member of the ANC. So he will be called into the PEC by invitation. And that's why they are then resolving that, no, we'll rather have the chair for now to become the premier until 2024, So it's not starting with Makhura. It has always happened. We have seen it from president of the NC. We have seen recently with, as I said, with Sihle. So I don't understand why is Makhura holding people at ransom. Especially when he's using the lifestyle audit. That is very mischievous of him. He's been in office for the past 8 years. He has never spoken about the lifestyle audit. Now, just 2 weeks after the PwC has resolved, he starts now to speak about this lifestyle audit.
So how do we are battling with your internet connection a little bit, Rebone. So while I ask you the next question, let's hope that it does stabilize a bit. So how do we read, the kinds of statements coming from Gauteng, from the ANC in Gauteng? They say he hasn't been recalled. They're saying there is no reshuffle. He is still in his position. What are they trying to do? They're obviously trying to make the transition, whatever it is, as smooth as possible. And they're also trying to ensure that the appearance of unity in Gauteng is the one that is the takeaway.
I mean, they can say this, publicly that this is not the decision of the PC. But as I said, I've spoken to PC members. They're even telling me about the meeting that took place on Friday at 1 o'clock in Terrafontaine, that the PAC resolved, and the PAC sent a delegation on Saturday at 10 a.m. to inform Makhura of the decision. And the reason why I'm saying they are not able to move is this lifestyle audit, the polygraph that Makhura. So Makhura has pushed them back to the wall. They are not able to move. They are not able to communicate their own decision.
And it's this month that they're set to undergo polygraphs.
Yeah, exactly.
Rebone Tau.
So
it's never a dull day in politics. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Let me thank you for your time this morning. Thanks for weighing in on that discussion. It is also the topic of our Twitter post. We'd like our viewers to weigh in on that discussion as well. Rebone Tau is a political analyst.